Welcome to the Corner House Chronicles podcast. We are excited to share this journey with you. If you like what you hear and you'd be interested in supporting us, check out our Patreon page. The link will be in the show notes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is bitter cold outside, but we are here to warm up your eardrums. Welcome back to the Corner House Chronicles. I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
And we're here for you.
Sitting next to some propane heaters.
Yeah, it's warming up nicely in here. The new studio. It's not quite winter friendly.
No. We'll make it work.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks and then we'll be all right. It'll be spring.
Propane heaters and tarps.
Propane heaters, tarps, little electrical heaters.
We do all this for you.
Cold beer, that helps.
That does. At least our beers don't get warm.
Hell no, you just set them outside.
How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was good. The boys had fun. Everybody had a good time. Good eats.
Got everything they wanted?
Yeah. 10-year-old got a phone.
Oh.
I'm having texting conversations with my 10-year-old now. It's a weird transition period here.
Yeah.
You just random times. Here comes a text in from him, and I'm just not used to it yet.
Does he do a lot of them, or is it just real quick little?
No, he'll go with you.
All right.
He'll text you. I'm going to give him your number.
Do it. We got to give him Molly's number. If he wants a conversation, she has probably a 5-to-1 text ratio. Even in a conversation. Should I ask you a question before you can answer it? There's like 4 more emojis coming. There's pictures coming. Random happy faces.
She don't give you no chance to respond to that first one.
It's a one-way conversation. You're just there so she has someone to send it to.
Yep. Yeah, I figure he's probably going to be like that at least these first couple of weeks because of the excitement of having his new, a new phone. So
oh, absolutely.
We figured it was time. It's heavily regulated. We're keeping tabs on everything, and we'll see how it goes.
Could you imagine being kids in this day and age and getting a phone at 10?
No.
Getting half the stuff that they get now?
Yeah.
And that's had to be what our parents said when we were kids.
Yeah. When we were 10, it was Nintendo. That was the new thing, Duck Hunt.
Yep, I did not get a Nintendo.
Mario Brothers. I think Game Boy was shortly after, year or two.
I still love seeing the photo of, this is how we had to travel with video games. And he's got the huge backpack, the giant, car battery attached to it, the magnifying glass that's on it with a light. Mm-hmm. Looked like something out of one of the apocalypse robot movies.
Oh, robots, dude. You just hit something there. Did you see the robot that sweats to cool itself down while doing push-ups?
I have not.
I'm going to have to look this up real quick. But, yeah, these robots are getting out of hand.
So it does push-ups, and it sweats.
It sweats oil to cool down the engines and gears of the robot.
Keep them all like fucking Tin Man. So
yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty outstanding.
I saw the one of our friends posted on one of the, I think it was Facebook, where they had the robot carrying the box, and the guy with the hockey stick ran up and knocked the box out of it. And so the robot would have to pick it up, and he knocked it out, and he moved it, and it was showing how good it adjusts to obstacles in its way or picking it up.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was the video he sent was someone narrative over it. So every time the guy knocked the box out with a hockey stick, he's like, "Damn it, Dave! Why do you keep doing this to me?" "Oh, here, I got it," and it slowly fall a little bit out of its hands. He's like, "Whoa, I almost got it," and he knock it out. "Oh, that real funny, Dave, real funny." And he'd go to pick it up, and he'd bend over, and he'd hit it with a hockey stick and send it a little farther on. It was just hilarious. And then at the end of the day, they show the robot walking out the door, pushes open the door. "All right, guys, see you later." Fuck you, Dave.
Yeah, this thing it's pretty interesting. The robot sweats while doing push-ups.
So did they do it as a way to make the robot more effective? Or was it just to make it more humanoid?
That's a good question. Watch this humanoid robot doing push-ups and crunches. There it is.
So folks that can't see that you're just staring at a phone.
I know. Sorry.
So continue. Staring at the phone.
Researchers designed humanoids that mimic our muscular skeletal structure. University of Tokyo.
Wouldn't you think that there's a much better structure than ours?
I guess if we're building it, the robot can do push-ups, crunches, chin-ups, calf raises, and back extensions. And just like us, they sweat during their workout. True to their mission of recreating the human body, the researchers even designed an artificial perspiration system to release heat from the motors.
So instead of having one big exhaust fan in the back, they just sweat.
Yeah.
Like one of the things we hate doing. They're going to make the robot sweat.
Yeah. The researchers, they published in the Journal of Science Robotics, the researchers wrote, a limitation of conventional humanoids is that they have been designed on the basis of the theories of conventional engineering, mechanics, electronics, and informatics.
So, if they are sweating oil, that means it drips off them and it falls on the ground?
I would guess so.
So before this podcast goes to air, we have to get the rights for robot deodorant.
It'd be like some kind of sponge.
Some kind of anti-oil.
That you would put on top of the robot. The researchers used human statistical data to build an artificial body parts with perfectly human-like proportions. They designed actuators that mimic the connections between muscles and tendons in human bodies, which allow for greater degrees of freedom at the joints and therefore more fluid motion than typical robots. We are creating our replacement. It's like the Terminator. Eventually they'll give, or what was that movie with Will Smith?
iRobot?
iRobot, yep. It's going to be like that. The robots are just going to take over, not like Transformers, because that's out of this world stuff. Now who's staring at his phone?
Yeah, you were talking pretty good there for a minute. I was looking up the, remember the original Mortal Kombat?
Yep.
Do you remember the boss's name? They had the 4 arms, kind of looked like a Cyclops.
Let's start with a G.
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Oh, no. No, I don't remember his name.
All right. So for all those...
There was what? Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang.
Yeah, those are all the players. This is one of the bosses.
Right.
But anyways, wouldn't that be a better model, like extra arms?
Well, I'm sure we'll get there. If 2 arms on the robot work because it does push-ups, then we'll get 2 that come out of the back and they can do something else while doing push-ups or something.
So we're going to truly need a Spider-Man because we're going to be building an army of Dr. Octopuses?
Yeah.
Isn't that his name?
Doc Ock.
Doc Ock,
yeah.
A bunch of just giant arms coming out the back.
That'd be weird. It was weird reading about one. Could you imagine an army of them? Like Universal Soldier with extra arms and legs, shooting more guns.
Skynet?
I don't know. That you said robot, and I thought of that. I really think we're designing our replacements. Things are going to get weird.
You had a weird theory. Did we talk about it last? No, we were talking about the squirrels and how we were talking about the Black Mirror. We were talking about the squirrel and then the Black Mirror about how they made the android robots.
Yeah.
Or the bees in the one episode.
Yep.
And then you were like, we're going to end up becoming the squirrels. We're going to build our replacements.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to be running around scrounging and trying to stay out of the way of all the robots.
Don't get run over by the robot, basically, but it'll be different. They'll be catching us or shooting at us or whatever they're doing. Yeah. That could make for a good movie, huh? Trademark.
Called it. We got dibs.
I think that's twice it's happened on the show.
So someone create it, send it to us, save us the legwork.
I'd like to create it. I've been in a creative mood. I'm trying to write some stuff. Like Jay was saying last week, I got that 2-year window for any idea.
Got to be quick.
Got to get it out there, circulating. Good thing we started now, right?
That's right. So in 2 years, we'll be all set. So we were talking about how cold it is.
It's bitter cold.
Did you hear in the news about the lady that got the electric bill? That was for $284 million.
Oh, my goodness. Is she powering a neighborhood or what?
It ended up being just an error. The decimal was put in the wrong place.
Oh, no.
They've never seen one in that grave.
That big of a mistake.
That's a lot of zeros to move over.
Yes, it is. $284 million
Yeah.
electric
supposed
bill.
to just be $284. That's a lot of decimal places.
Yeah, no kidding.
Could you imagine opening that up?
It would be the same heart attack I'd have if I hit the lotto.
I'd be, all you kids down here, remember I told you to turn off those lights?
Yep. That would be a hell of a piece of mail to open right there, boy.
For your birthdays, you're all getting candles.
Candles. This is what we call Mother Nature's light. The sun.
And we're not talking the
When it goes down,
Yankee
you ain't
candles.
seeing nothing. Right, yeah. The $26 candles. We ain't buying those.
No. $26 candles. Who buys those?
Sometimes we get hosed. Some little joker puts the candle on a different shelf at Meijer, and you don't pay attention to the receipt, and boom, you go home and check it. Damn.
Yeah, that happened to me.
$26 candle.
Looked on the clearance rack, 40% off. Like, sweet, $14 candles at 40% off. I'll take this one. Throw it up on there, and I'm ringing everything up and trying to. You know what threw me off? What really threw me off was the cashier was trying to be really nice. Like, hey, do you have one of our store account things online? There's coupons for all three of these. If you log on and clip them, we can use them. And it saved me like $3. Lo and behold, she was wrong. They were different brands. So I didn't even save the $3, and I didn't pay attention to the $25 candle that rolled through. She got me for $28.
Yeah. Maybe she got like a bonus for it. Maybe they keep track. Gold star for the day or something. Employee of the month.
I'm telling you. And then on top of that, that was the same store. I'm there with my son. And so we get everything. Well, I was buying a gift card. And so I purchased a gift card, told them how much on it. I didn't pay attention to where they put it because I have my son and I'm loading up all the groceries. We get home. Everything's fine dandy. I realized I put away all the groceries, threw out all the bags. I don't have the gift card.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's the worst nightmare, isn't it?
Oh, no. Did you find it?
So I'm running around trying to find it. I go
frantic, right?
On top of that, I took the trash out when I got home.
Oh, goodness.
So I had to go out in the snow, rip open the trash bag, look through all the bags within the trash bag. Not there.
Did you put it in your pocket?
So I run back in, check my pocket. Not there.
I'm out of guesses.
So am I. I'm like, well, I had to have left it.
Your kid had it.
They probably set it up on the thing where they set your pops that you buy.
Oh, yeah,
and
like near the credit card scanner thing?
And
yeah,
I probably just walked right away. So I'm like, well, what do I do? It's Christmas Eve. Right? Yeah.
That's such a ridiculous thing to say.
Last minute. So I call them, and I'm like, I tell them, and they transfer me, and I tell the next person. They transfer me. Tell the next person. He's like, okay, well, here, let's try and get this fixed. When I called, they also gave me the holiday hours. There's 45 minutes before they close.
Oh, no. So this guy's just on the phone with you rolling his eyes.
And I'm like, all right. So he's like, read this off the receipt. I give him all the numbers that they need. He's like, all right, I'll call you right back. Please do. 20 minutes go by. Now they're only open for another half hour. He calls me. He's like, sir, I found it. I'm like, yeah, did I leave it there? He goes, no, they put it in the bag with your son's toy. I'm like, why would they do that? He's like, yeah, it probably wasn't the best idea. Hopefully you find it. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that his job's done.
Happy holidays.
So he had to check the cameras.
So he went and checked the cameras.
Right.
And I'm like, my son's playing with his toy. He opened it in the car. I went in the car. So part of the bag's like in the back. The box for the toy is like
ripped
split
open all over the
pieces
back
all
seat.
over.
Yep.
And he flung it, and it happened to be like down next to the seat and by the door. So I ended up finding it. But I'm like, who puts that kind of gift card
for
that amount of money in with a toy for my son? And she handed the bag to him so he could carry the toy.
Oh, man. He could have dropped it in the parking lot.
Could have been so much worse.
Well, luckily you found it.
Luckily I found it. And there was a Merry Christmas to be had.
Right.
Happy ending for all.
Yeah. have yourself a cabin fever.
Let's go ahead and describe this while I'm opening it.
Yes, this evening's episode, we are drinking Cabin Fever, a brown ale from New Holland Brewing, which is in Holland, Michigan. Cabin Fever is a roasty brown ale and a hearty, comforting companion for long, mind-bending winters, which I felt was appropriate for the bitter cold we're experiencing outside.
It definitely fits.
Yeah. Roasted meats, dried fruits.
Roasted meats?
Yeah, roasted meats, dried fruits. I can't pronounce that G word. And smoked cheese are the pairings.
Oh, the pairings. I thought that's what they were made with.
Gruyere.
Like, they made this beer with roasted meats? That's hardcore.
Hey, they don't mess around up in Holland, Michigan.
Apparently not.
They take their beer in winter seriously. And roasted meats.
It's not bad. It's a nice...
I'm enjoying it. It's pretty tasty.
Definitely better than Oktoberfest.
You're crazy. So, we are recording this as the UFC is happening right now, and it's about to be the main event. So we're going to make a little pick real quick based on the names alone. Holly Holm, if you'll remember, she's the one that knocked out Ronda Rousey, kicked her in the face and broke her jaw, against Cyborg. Predictions?
Well, I'll have to take Cyborg because I know who you're taking.
I think Holly Holm's going to win. I do. But it is a coin flip because Cyborg is a beast.
I don't believe I've seen her fight.
She's pretty dominant.
I haven't watched fights since our test run. Pierre won
Bisbing.
the belt from Bisbing.
Yep. I actually just listened to that the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yep. When I got home from your house after we uploaded the last one, I plugged it in. Tried to pull some stuff from it.
Oh, you listened to the episode, not the fight.
Yeah, the episode.
I thought you watched the fight again.
No.
I'm
I'm looking forward to Bisbing or GSP's new fight.
I thought he gave up the belt.
Yeah, he did, but they're gonna get a super fight with him and McGregor. That's gonna happen.
I don't know. He was diagnosed with some kind of medical thing. That's why he gave up the belt.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe not then. I thought for sure they were gonna fight.
I don't recall what it was, but he said something came back into testing, and he's gonna have to deal with it. And unlike, as I think he even said, unlike other people that held the belts, I'm just gonna vacate it so you can have a champion going. And when I'm back to good, I'll just come get it again.
Yeah, not like Conor McGregor. Hold two belts hostage.
Although Dana White was defending him on, I think it was a sports talk show.
Really?
Yeah, something they were talking about how McGregor hasn't fought and this and that, and he went to bat for McGregor, even though he was like the only reason he vacated the other title is because he won this, and so we forced him to vacate. That was in the contract.
Yeah. And
he goes, look at man, he's fought everyone that's been challenger, and then we decided to go do the Mayweather fight, so that you can't hold against him. And so he was like really backing him up.
Yeah, and as far as Dana White knows, McGregor's still the cash cow.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still going to pull at least the first fight
I think if it was any other fighter that was doing this, I mean, not going off to boxing, but holding that belt and not fighting, he'd just take it away.
Yeah.
But
make him fight.
When you make that money, it talks.
When you're making Conor McGregor money.
I just saw, just before we started, I was cruising over the news, and there was an article, I didn't get a chance to read it, where Mayweather's claiming Dana White's using his name and keeping the conversation going to get a better TV deal.
Oh. That could be...
Mayweather don't like people making money off his name unless it's Mayweather.
Hell no. And he don't like other people making money when it is his name, you know?
This is true.
He wants the whole beef for himself. He can't fight in the UFC.
He already said he wouldn't.
I know, but...
He knows better.
It ain't going to count against his record.
Doesn't matter.
Money talks, man, especially in that dude's world. He could pull off
He makes more boxing
than
he would in UFC because he does the promotions and all of that.
Yeah, but they'll just cut him in on promotion for it.
He's not going to fight in UFC. He's too smart. He has nothing other than boxing. Why would he go into where someone's trained in so many other disciplines?
What if he's been all this time training in those disciplines?
I don't think he has. He's
No?
known as a boxer.
Yeah. Well, there's been fighters known as fighters. They jump into boxing, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I hope he does. I'd like to see him get his ass whooped.
and that's why he won't.
But think about how much money people will pay to see him get his ass whooped. If they charged $100 for him boxing McGregor, you don't think they could charge $200 for Mayweather McGregor in the UFC in the Octagon? $200 a share at pay-per-view? $300 a share? I mean, imagine. They could do it.
Yeah, they could, but he'll never do that.
Ooh.
He likes bringing people into his world where he has control.
True.
He's
When
all
his
about
record's on the line, true, because he had to keep it, no blemishes. But like I said, this won't count against his record in boxing. So this is like a, what do you call it? Like a charity thing, exhibition style. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be
Your
nice,
prediction is strong, though. You guaranteed he won't do it.
but- yeah, guaranteed. 100%. No wavering.
Ooh, 100%. I do admire your confidence. I do.
It just makes the most sense.
So tonight you're gonna you don't have to take Cyborg strictly on the basis that I'm taking Holly home.
That's the only way we get to bet $1 on it.
Oh, well, if we're betting $1 on it, okay. Deal.
So it's like, fight goes on at midnight.
Yeah, they should be probably either walking down to the cage
It's
or
12:04,
introduced.
so you
Yeah.
probably owe me $1 now.
I don't even think they rang the bell yet. Bruce Buffer's still doing his thing, so let's give him a minute.
Give me a minute.
I wish if we had Wi-Fi out here, I could pull the fight up.
Yes.
Then it would be like that first one where we don't talk.
Right, or we just pause it and go watch it and then come back.
Oh, we can do that too. So you recall last week we talked about Vince McMahon,
We did.
and now there's what do you call that, wrinkle in the story?
Oh, really? Something's popped up that I missed?
Yeah, he was something about North Carolina. You were the one telling me the story.
Oh, that's
Vince McMahon, how he might have been using the XFL thing as a distraction to buy the Panthers or something.
Yeah, I found an article where Jonathan Coachman, who used to work as an announcer, and I think he was even a manager in the WWE. I don't know what he does now, but
The
it was
coach.
the coach.
Yeah.
So he has. I don't know, it was on a YouTube video. So I don't know, he probably has a YouTube channel where he goes over stuff. But he was talking about this, and the big thing he brought up was a lot of people are mocking Vince McMahon for thinking about creating an XFL, and he's like, you got to realize this is a very smart man. He built this empire from nothing. He's self-made. If he's willing to sell shares of his baby, WWE, to generate this $50 to $100 million to go out, and he's already, like we talked about, got some of the trademarks and the rights and re-upped everything for the XFL. He's look at the ratings going down for the NFL and all the issues they're having with the protests and all the other drama they're having. And if he can slide in there and create a product that fits that niche, and even takes a portion of that to rival it. Think about all the players that are leaving. I mean, he might be one to get Kaepernick. Then he can get that fan base. On top of that, total sidebar, the UCLA quarterback, Rosen, he's supposed to be one of the top 2.
Yeah, they said he was like the best well-rounded quarterback prospect in the
He's considering not coming out because you might be drafted by the Browns. He said that. Because when you get drafted by the Browns, you go there and die.
Yeah.
But if there's an alternative like the old USFL was, where Jim Kelly went to and he didn't want to sign, Steve Young was over there, then McMahon might be able to create this and get the best quarterback coming out of the draft to join his league as leverage. And if he's that much better than the average, and most of that league is average, he's going to look like a superstar. So there's a lot of things that he's doing. If he's willing to put up money that from shares that he sold from WWE, then you got to take him seriously. And then Coachman went on to say is, one thing a lot of people aren't considering, and they really need to think about, is Vince McMahon started in North Carolina. He owns a restaurant in North Carolina. Triple H's bachelor party was in Raleigh, North Carolina.
And Triple H married his daughter, so obviously it's...
Right.
Yeah.
And what does that all have to do? Well, the Panthers happen to be up for sale. And he's not claiming any inside information. But one of the things he pointed out was that P. Diddy said he was putting together a group to try and go off and buy the Panthers.
Yeah.
He was like, now think about this. You got a bunch of old white guys owning all these teams for the vast majority.
Yeah.
And you got this rapper,
Rap star, mogul.
coming in. He's not going to gel well.
He's going to be cocky. He's going to have all these other...
Well, it's just different eras, different
Yep.
respects, different cultures, and that could really clash. Well, then what if you had someone like Vince McMahon buy it, who's their age, who built up, who's a billionaire,
Probably friends with a few of them.
probably friends with a few,
Running the
has
same
money
circles.
to put in, not just the initial buy-in, and can speak their language and get along with them, that might be a much better fit because all the owners have to approve of ownership purchases.
Yeah.
So even if like PDD offers more money, they can turn them down, vote no, and the McMahon offer less and vote yes. So he was rumoring, he's like, don't count him out. There's a chance that he may just either straight out buy or put together a small group and purchase the Panthers. How crazy would that be?
That would be insane for Vince McMahon to be double dipping in the huge markets of sports entertainment.
What's ironic is that if he ends up buying it, his wife isn't she on like the cabinet for Trump?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and Trump always wanted to own
Small
a team.
Business Association.
Yeah, and Trump always wanted to own a team.
I got this article here from December 28th, which was 2 days ago, and it's Diamond Dallas Page, the wrestler.
Yeah.
And the question is, Vince McMahon potentially getting back into football. And his response is, quote, McMahon has always been a visionary, but again, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and it really comes down to the talent. So I don't know how you do that. But if he's got a plan, I'm sure he's got a plan, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Some of my biggest victories have come directly after some of my biggest failures. If McMahon is getting back into football again, then he's got a master plan.
I have to agree.
So there's other people being questioned about it and talking openly, answering questions. He wasn't specific on football, but he credited McMahon for being, the chess player in business.
Absolutely. I mean, he dealt
seeing the
with a
future.
lot of egos throughout his years.
Oh, yeah.
The Giant, Hogan,
Because you
Warrior.
imagine he might have been the biggest ego of all of them, and that's why he's
absolutely he
had
is.
to. Well, some of those business guys bend a little bit to ego.
Absolutely. But the one thing was he was always hands-on. So he was always had the pulse on the company, knew all the talent.
Hell, he was fighting himself in a lot of the main events.
Absolutely.
So
And
his kids.
Well, that's one of the reasons going into wrestling. That's one of the reasons why Shane McMahon is so respected through the talent of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Is because he took some vicious falls through plate glass, off the cage, and he did that to show them, listen, if I'm going to run this company one day,
Right.
I have to go through what you went through to show you.
I'm not just daddy's boy taking his office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that a lot of wrestlers have stated. Especially after the first time he took a huge fall. I think it was through a plate glass at I think it was SummerSlam, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And that's what they all said was, we looked at him differently. He's daddy's boy. But once he gets out there and performs and takes a fall, takes a bump like that, he earns your respect regardless.
That jumping off that cage is no joke.
No, ask Foley.
That's
an insane son of a bitch.
Yeah, he did some stuff, huh? That Mick Foley.
Man, I read his book. Such a great book.
I want to watch the TV show.
I heard he has a TV.
It's like the Osbournes,
He's a unique character, but he's very lovable, is what everyone says.
Yeah.
Like, he just gets along with everyone. He's very happy-go-lucky.
He writes children's books.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the WWE Network, too, in the house. I haven't had time to sit down and watch the show. I think there's like 2 or 3 seasons of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on that network. That's why I really haven't heard of it.
It's on their network. Yeah. So I haven't had time to sit down and watch it, and I really want to. I have to do a day where I just binge and watch a whole season just to see how it is.
Back to Diamond Dallas Page. Did you know he does DDP yoga?
Oh, he developed a whole new system that's like saving people.
Yeah.
Like back problems are just disappearing
He showed
under his yoga.
It was just not random, but one guy that was dealing with weight, and he was on crutches,
Yeah.
couldn't walk, couldn't do anything.
I watched that video.
Yeah. And then what he did with like Jake the Snake Roberts and Scott Hall, and got them back into like functioning.
Where they were moving again, basically. You
Yeah.
know, those guys were cramping up, and
Because he started wrestling in his late 40s.
DDP did.
Yeah,
No
late
kidding.
30s or late 40s. Like most people start when they're a teenager, learn the ropes stuff, and they kind of take off in their 20s, late 20s. He just got into the business as a manager on a happen chance, and he was a manager because he was flamboyant and he got over. But then he had to start taking a few bumps here and there. Well, then hanging out with the boys and keep going, he started picking up and learning, and he became a wrestler after that. He's like one of the oldest that became so successful.
Yeah.
He was a huge name when we were watching as kids.
He was big in WCW.
Oh, yeah.
That was where he made his mark for sure.
Bang.
Diamond Dallas Page. It's
The
good to
Diamond
see
Cutter, also known as the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, it's good to see the wrestlers that survived their careers. Some of them, a lot of them, don't survive that career.
No, not at all.
They don't come out the back end.
Nowadays, they do more because they're making a little bit more, and the business kind of helps guide them.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was just like, I mean, you look at some of the train wrecks like Jake Snake Roberts, Scott Hall. I mean, they were doing story arcs about him being drunk wrestling because he was drunk wrestling so much.
I'll never forget Jake Snake Roberts. Remember Macho Man married Miss Elizabeth?
Yep.
And he brought the snake and
Let it bite him.
biting Macho Man on the arm.
Elizabeth's like, no.
That was epic TV when we were
I
kids.
watched that last week.
Really?
Yeah.
You watched that exact pay-per-view or just that one bit?
That segment.
Yeah.
I still remember Scott Hall once he did the DDP yoga and he was back on. Everyone's like, hey, because he was back to functioning and stuff. I still remember his Twitter account. He took a picture. It was like 2 Christmases ago of his Christmas tree and didn't pay attention to what was on his computer. Just a porno, or his TV. He had a porno playing on the TV. Takes a picture of his Christmas tree with that porno going. Merry Christmas, all. Like, Scott, what you watching there?
Calm down, fella.
When I put up my Christmas tree, there's nothing better. I don't want no Christmas music. That's what you need. You need a porno on the TV and put that star on top.
Most people on Christmas morning hook up the Netflix and they get the fire burning.
Right. Oh, he got a fire burning.
Yeah. It was just a different kind of fire. Makes me wonder what Shawn Michaels is doing different, because that guy shows up every year on WrestleMania and he gets in there and does his super kick, and he always seems like he's in good shape and he's got all his bearings going for him, mentally. And
I remember when he did his retirement thing, it was all about the back.
Yeah, he hurt his back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I think with the modern medicine, he might have been able to get it better, because he's not taking huge bumps, though. He's not doing none of the extreme stuff.
No.
It's more old school, more Michaels, Bret Hart.
He just, that one sweet chin music, and the guy falls down, and then, he makes his way back to the locker room. He shows up on WrestleMania. It's usually about it.
Austin does a podcast.
Does he?
Yeah, I started listening to that. It's pretty good.
Does he still do that show? Did you ever watch his show?
The
Broken Skull Challenge?
Yeah, they finished 5 and they're trying to get a 6, or they finished 6 and they're trying to get a 7.
Okay.
And I've never seen it. I just learned about it listening to his podcast talking about it, because it happened at his ranch.
Yeah.
Oh, he sold that ranch.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. He sold it, and he's looking for land up like Nevada and New Mexico, I think. Because it's like, what do you say, like 16-hour drive from there to L.A. And L.A. is where they got family or something he has to do. So he just owns an RV.
Just drives.
So he's looking for something a little closer, like in Nevada. It's really interesting, because I have a bunch of the current wrestlers on there and older wrestlers, and they'll sit around drinking.
I might have to listen to that
and
one.
talking about just goofy stuff going. Like he was talking, he was like one of the funnest things is you're talking about the boys he traveled with, the guys. That's what he always listen to his podcast. He goes, the boys, 'cause
Right.
that's what they called
the
all
other wrestlers.
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, then you get some people that are trying to spoof you during matches, not the pay-per-views or the TV spots, but like the house shows that you do or before it goes live.
The Wednesday night and
he's like, the best one was always Owen Hart. Owen Hart could just make anyone laugh in the ring. And he'd do the stupidest stuff. He's like, I didn't know it, but I'm in a match versus Mick Foley and Owen Hart. I forget who he said his partner was. And he goes, we're wrestling, and they start doing this stupid stuff. Like, Mick Foley would, like, grab him by the ear, and he'd, like, act like he's dying. And he goes, and then he'd throw him out of the ring. And they'd always go to the concession stand before the match, and they'd walk out with a bag of popcorn, one of those huge industrial bags of popcorn. And he said, like, he'd walk up to Foley, and Foley'd be like, no, waving his head, no. And he'd just start beating him with the popcorn. And, like, he's acting like he's dying. He's flailing around as he's being beaten with popcorn. And he's like, those guys, he goes, now listen, I'm bald. A lot of those guys have hair they can throw down in front of their face. That's how Taker got away. A lot of them got away with laughing and stuff because they covered up.
Yep.
They could see me turning beet red, my head down in the turnbuckle, just laughing. And he said, and then Foley would turn the table and not going down. He'd go underneath and he'd pull out a big, long package of the pop lids. And he'd walk up to
like
Owen.
from the concession stand?
From the concession stand, the little plastic ones. And Owen would be sitting on his knees begging, no, don't, no. And you could just see him, like, for his life. Foley would rip open the top and slowly let them pour out on him. And it was like a vat of acid was pouring on them. And he'd flail like he was dying. And he goes, those guys made me look like such a chump.
I imagine Mick Foley would be a fun guy to work with, you know.
Yeah, it was funny. The last one, they had a few of the modern wrestlers on there. I forget their names. And they were talking. And it just got into the ongoing joke. Like, yeah, we travel overseas. And we'd end up reading novels. And then novels was their code for we're just going to get drunk. Just drinking beers. And so throughout the whole podcast, we're like, hey, Steve, hand me another one of them novels. All right. While you guys are talking, I need to catch up on a few
I got some reading
passages. It's actually a really good podcast.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I like Mick Foley reminds me of the like the wrestling version of Kevin Smith.
I can see that.
Like just the fun-loving guy that everybody just wants to be around and hang out and, you know, goofy type deal.
Listen to that podcast makes me want to watch again. And then when I watch, I'm so lost. I'm like, I don't even know who any of these guys are.
It's rough to keep track now. There's only a couple of names that are real serious that you might remember. You know, John Cena still runs. They're talking about bringing Undertaker back for WrestleMania this year.
I hope not.
Because he retired last year at WrestleMania.
And he lost. That was such a horrible way
That's
to go.
why they're going to bring him back, I think.
Well, that's how Taker wants to go.
I think people were bitter because he lost the fight.
We all are, but that's how Taker wanted to go. He's a very old school wrestler, and there's always a passing of the torch. You always... And
I can't remember who he lost to in that fight either, now that I think about it.
What was interesting is I remember one of the big deals when Austin left was that they wanted him to wrestle for the belt against Brock Lesnar. And he was like, are you crazy? That's a pay-per-view. That's just a dream match.
Yeah.
And you want me to do this? And lo and behold, them guys are good buddies. They're trying to go out hunting together. And it wasn't no hard feelings between them. It was just a, like, why would you waste this?
Yeah.
Type thing.
Who did he end up fighting? Do you remember?
No,
that's the thing. I don't remember hardly. Like even Undertaker. Like I said, that was last 9 months ago. And
that was the whole point. Was I was going to say is Austin did say, he goes, it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with business. It'd be a huge pay per view, and I don't mind losing to him. I don't mind passing the torch, so to speak, letting someone get over to really get him up on the name. I mean, That's how Orton made his name.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to do it on a regular TV show.
Oh, so they wanted it like Monday Night Raw type deal.
Yeah, they wanted him.
Right, and he's like, no, bring it SummerSlam.
Yeah,
type
bring
thing.
it any pay-per-view. That's huge buys.
Yeah. Huh. Wrestling's odd, man. It's weird now. But they brought back a couple of the big name stars from the past, like the Hardy Boys showed up at WrestleMania. They're fighting.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Like Jeff Hardy's a legitimate wrestler again in wrestling.
He's off all the. From what I hear, he's sober.
Yeah,
he got into some bad
still
places,
jumping off 30-foot ladders and stuff.
I saw one of his TNA matches where he everyone makes fun of Hall wrestling drunk. He came out and he was could barely walk.
Really?
Yeah, and Sting ended the match in 20, 30 seconds.
It was just
and
bad.
They had to come out and they threw someone else in there to all right, and he's challenging for the belt to cover for him because it was just so bad. They did it for his benefit. You can't do anything. They couldn't even throw him into the ropes.
He was just too intoxicated.
I don't know if it was intoxication. I heard his was not a liquid issue.
Oh, well, drugs, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. That reminds me of Chris Farley. You remember Chris Farley, obviously. Did you ever see the movie they made? It's a documentary. It's called I Am Chris Farley.
No.
It's recent. Last year, maybe. A lot of inside information. A lot of people from SNL. A lot of his family, his brother, his dad. There was some personal stories. And one of the things was he would get so drunk before SNL started that you would look at him and go, this guy can't function. But as soon as they said, Farley, you're on, and he walked out on that stage, it was like he was
stone sober.
Sober as a jailbird. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
And he would operate. And you remember Farley on SNL? He tore the crowd up every night. It's just weird that he was able to do that, but somebody
That's how he got to that no reserve, so he could do some of that.
Absolutely. He was drunk all the time from what they kind of let on in the story. Farley, he was a big boy too, so I'm sure he held quite a bit of booze.
I remember the first time I learned a little bit watching some of the people talk about Andre the Giant and what he had to drink.
That guy would kill 40 beers before he got a buzz, right?
He drank 5 fists.
Just to get
just to get a buzz. He'd go to bars and just clean them out.
You see the picture of him holding a 12-ounce beer can in his hand, and it's his hand dwarfs the can. Yeah.
Well, they said when he had to
he
had to have back surgery, they gave him elephant tranquilizer.
I believe it
because they couldn't give him the amount of dosage of normal pain meds and stuff that we take because it would have exceeded the limit and put him in danger. They had to go to elephant tranquilizer.
Low dosage of maximum drug, man.
I still remember that one photo. It was Andre the Giant and who was there with him? Was it Arnold Schwarzenegger or was it Stallone? Stallone's a smaller guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a shorter guy, yes. Yeah.
It might have been him, but I think it was Arnold standing next to Andre, and you're like, wow, because Arnold's not a small guy.
No, he's pretty tall, I think.
Yeah, but then you put him up next to him, and you're like, yeah.
Andre the Giant. He was just such a big dude. Freakishly huge. Remember The Princess Bride?
Oh, yeah.
When he was in that, yeah.
It's a great movie.
I don't think he did many other movies, did he?
I don't think so.
Maybe one or two spots in something, maybe, if he got lucky. Wonder what that dude did in his free time.
Drank.
It's an expensive diet at his size.
Right?
Holy cow. Fists just to get a buzz.
It was insane the amount they started talking about. Did you see the Flair documentary, the 30 for 30?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things.
God, that may be the best 30 for 30 I've ever seen.
Better than the Pistons one?
Way better.
The Bad Boys one? That was
Way
a
better.
good 30 for 30.
Because he doesn't hide anything.
No, Ric Flair was always he told everything.
They asked about some of the darkest and the first interview. They did 2 interviews with him. First interview they did, he shared everything. They're like, well, let us do some more research and stuff, and then we'll
fact check your stories, basically.
That, and find out some more in case we need a follow-up. Well, then he went into that coma. He was in a coma for an extended period of time.
Really?
No one thought he was going to pull out of it. He did pull out of it. And then the second interview is after the coma.
Opened his vault?
No, he was open before it.
Right, but I
Like-
mean, did this really, like...
He talked about the coma. That's the thing, is when you ask him, even about stuff, like, they asked him, I think this was before the coma, like, what would you want to be known for? He's like, well, most people would say a great dad, but I wasn't. I was a horrible dad. Most people would say a good father, a good husband. I wasn't that either. So I guess I'll just have to say one of the best and most entertaining wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not many people will break it down.
Accept it.
And
You know,
he
just-
talked about his faults, about how he was the persona you saw on TV, and
Right.
he lived it.
it.
He lived it. He was like, when you see me do those promos, like these $800 alligator shoes, those are really my shoes. That Rolex, that's really my Rolex.
Nature boy.
They were like, how'd you come up with the
Woo!
jet setting, limo driving, wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing? He's like, well, it's easy. I go do a show over in Alabama, and Ted Turner had his WCW station where we did the recordings in Atlanta, right? Turner, Atlanta,
Okay.
Georgia. I think that's where he was. He goes, and so they would fly me out, and I bought my own limo, so I'd ride from the plane and a limo to the tapings. I was jet flying, limo riding.
Yeah.
Because all of that is true.
It just was what he was living, so...
It's like, wow. It's definitely
He talks about
enlightening
being in a coma, though?
and sad to see how it devastated his family and his kids and everything family oriented,
Yeah.
related. It's really like, wow.
That lifestyle
he
wrecks
re-
a lot of families. You know,
And
just,
he realizes it, and he's willing to talk about his mistakes where a lot of people wouldn't go into detail.
Yeah.
And he was more
They would
than
just
willing.
shut that out, right?
Yeah, you got to watch it.
I want to hear about the coma. Like, what does he talk about when it comes to being in a coma? What, does he remember anything? Is there, you know, is it just like being asleep and having dreams, or, you know, does he go into that at all?
No,
or-
he didn't really talk
Okay.
about that.
Now that would be interesting for me. I'd like to, you know, that's intriguing, but I'd be more interested in that. But I'd still watch. I'm gonna watch it. I got a list going.
I'd bump that up to really close to the top,
Yeah.
if not the top. Because it's only, I think, an hour and a half.
The 30 for 30.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I forgot. I listened to the podcast version.
Okay,
and
so
then- which I thought was just the 30 for 30, but it's not. It's where they put some of the extra stuff and
the fun behind the scenes, and
right,
what you
and
didn't
the
get.
add-on. So I didn't get the actual. So I had to actually watch it to get it. But I was told how great it was, and I kept putting it off.
And then you watched it.
Oh, and then I watched it, and I was like, clearly the best one I've ever.
Huh. I got that, and I got that Netflix Jim Carrey thing I want to watch.
I'm not interested in that.
I like how he
New
lost his
season of
mind.
Black Mirror just dropped.
I got to get there too.
I watched the first episode.
I got to get there. I got to catch up on that. I haven't had any time.
Oh, man.
With Christmas, you know, we had 3 or 4 days
Made
where I had
time.
nothing. I had no time to myself
Sleep's
whatsoever.
overrated.
I wish.
I was just telling you earlier before the show, man. I'm a night owl. So I'll be dead tired because I don't get enough sleep as it is.
Right.
Dead tired. And I'm like, just let me finish this, get this one thing done, fold some laundry. I'm like, oh man, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I gotta go to bed, and all of a sudden it just hits me, and my eyes open up. And
It's
then I
almost
know.
like you move from one room to another, and boom, you
It's
wake
like
right
I
up.
flip the switch, the hat gets turned around, and I'm like,
Your Lincoln Hawk moment.
and literally, I know, I just stop and I go, oh shit, I'm not going to bed for another couple hours.
Mhm.
Hit my second wind. I'm like ready to do stuff.
Might as well clean the kitchen.
And so yeah,
Or play video
housework
games.
and- yeah, more or less housework and watching Netflix.
That second wind will kill you, man. Especially that late at night.
And I know better. I know I have to beat it to the bed.
Yep.
I don't listen.
No. I'm usually a pretty big night owl myself. I tend to stay up a little later.
I enjoyed working midnights when I did.
Yeah. Midnights is good for a single person.
Yeah, I wasn't single, and that's what made it really rough.
Right. It's strange
but
things.
like my timeline, it suited me
Yeah.
because I was usually up no matter what, and then you get off at 6, and it's like that's a really good time to go to bed.
Except in the summertime. Sleeping during the day in the summertime sucks because you got the windows open in the house because it's hot, but the kids aren't in school, so they're out in the neighborhood making noises and shit. And when I worked midnights, I was in an apartment complex, so when the windows were open, you heard the garbage truck hitting the dumpster, the kids at the park in the little concourse area.
That's where the one thing about me sleeping so hard, I'm a hard sleeper. I don't wake up for very much.
Yeah.
Is once I'm out, it doesn't matter what's going on.
Stories behind that statement.
Patreon only.
Good stories. Yeah, I've only had a couple of midnight jobs. But I didn't mind them.
No, I didn't.
At the time, they were fine. Now, I wouldn't want to do it.
No, you do miss too much with the kids.
Yeah. Like when they're in school, like I said, it's fine because they're in school all day. You sleep. Then they come home and you're awake. And
eat dinner with them.
Everything
you do
works,
the homework
right.
and everything. When they're going to bed, you're heading to work.
Yeah.
They're leaving for school. You're going to bed.
It works. It does.
That was the...
It's not fun, but it does.
I agree. During the summer, that was one thing. My son would always just wake up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see you. I want to do stuff. I'm like, I can't. I need some sleep.
Yeah. Your little brain doesn't understand. I just worked 8 hours, and now I need to sleep.
Yep.
Snoop Dogg teams up with Jack in the Box for a $4.20 stoner combo. Sadly, the munchie meal will only be available in California for a short time. Jack in the Box. We don't have those around here.
No, we don't. How funny is that?
A stoner combo meal. It doesn't say what it is, though. Oh, if you hit the video.
Yeah, we're not going to watch video, but...
Oh, no, wait. Continue reading.
For a franchise, I mean, it's a pretty large franchise chain out west.
The Merry Munchie Meal will be available January 18th through the 25th at 3 franchise locations in California, offering a plethora of greasy items. Have you read this?
No.
Chicken strips, 2 tacos, 5 churros, French fries, onion rings, and a small drink to alleviate that famous pot smoker indecision. I don't know what I want. Here's a little bit of everything.
But you're only getting a small drink.
A
with
little
all
bit,
that
yeah,
food.
a small drink.
So that cottonmouth with all that food.
It says we're about welcoming all of our guests, no matter what they are craving or why they are craving it.
I just find it interesting that a larger chain like that, I mean, they're not nationwide, but they're definitely a big regional chain.
It says they have over 2,200 restaurants nationwide.
Oh, it is a nationwide.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any in Michigan. So I guess as long as they have East Coast and West Coast covered, they're nationwide. But for them to say a stoner combo, that's kind of...
And it says, unfortunately, only those states with legalized marijuana may get the meal. So that's what? Colorado and Washington?
You think they're going to make you show your card? Like you're getting carded for a Happy Meal?
Yeah, wow. I don't know how they do that. If you...
I'm sure it's just you order it, but for them to say a stoner meal, it's quite brash considering, McDonald's or Burger King are all very neutral, very toe the line.
Nothing's really brash in California anymore, is it?
No, I guess not. And I guess as soon as you attach Snoop Dogg to it, they're all like, "Oh, that's just Snoop.
Yeah, he's high. Yeah,
that's
whatever.
just Snoop."
He is. Yeah.
How many chains did they say? How many stores? 3?
3 stores in California are going to get it.
I wonder if he has
for a
ownership.
week. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense.
That would make a lot of sense.
If he had like 3 franchise stores, and so it was his
some
idea,
money in it or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely.
They're like, Snoop, you always roll up here and you never know what you want.
Right.
You should make this a meal where you just get everything. He's like, dog,
deal.
We're doing it.
Make it $4.20 and call me tomorrow.
I think we're going to take a loss on this.
You know what? I'll be high. Call me the day after.
Just give them half portions.
Yeah.
They're high. They won't know.
How big is a churro? You get 5 churros and only 2 tacos, so they can't be. Were they like taquitos from 7-Eleven?
I would.
Yeah, they got
assume.
it. That's what that is. Yeah, okay.
Mostly bread. They just roll it up so it looks good.
So how does Burger King and McDonald's compete with that?
They don't. They just go, that's Snoop.
Snoop Dogg. He's been around for 25 years or so.
He's been like big. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the mid 90s when he hit, Doggy Style and him and Dre and stuff.
Yeah.
And Warren G, the Regulator song. And the one thing about Snoop Dogg that I noticed that I respect is he doesn't look any different than he did 25 years ago. He looks the same. Like he is time stood still.
What's all that weed? He's just moving really slow.
Is that what it is? Okay. It could be. Hey, shit.
I still remember I think it was when they did the Cribs, where they did the tour.
Yeah.
They went to his, and he had like a playhouse out in the back for his kid, but it was like
a guest house.
Yeah, I mean, not quite that big, but it was like big enough. I mean,
3 levels and an elevator.
Well, it was just one level, but he had a TV out there with video games, electric running, and a mini fridge. And he's like, "Yeah, when I get in trouble with the old lady, I just roll out here,
Come out here and get high.
scoot over, son,
Mm-hmm.
play some video games." I'm like, man, that would be the best. Dad, I need a playhouse out back. He's like, "I'll hook you up.
I got you.
TV, PlayStation, Xbox."
That's how I want the Corner House Chronicles studio to be. A little man cave away from the house,
Not quite to Rogan's level yet.
No.
Did you see that studio he built?
He's got a full MMA training facility inside
And an
his
archery range.
archery range, and he's getting one of those
A workout facility.
It's like cryogenics chamber or something that he's I think he spends 4 minutes in it or something, 5 minutes at a time or some shit. It's suspended in water or something.
It's crazy.
We were talking about Rogan at work tonight and just how intellectual is the word I'm going to use.
Right.
But he's just so self-studied. He makes it a point
To learn.
to educate himself, and we were talking about there's a documentary on DMT
Yep.
that he either narrates or he's heavily involved in, and
Oh, he's all about a lot of that
yeah,
stuff.
he's really into the mind-altering.
Because you get some of them scientists in there. I mean, even they'll start talking microbiomes in the stomach and
Yeah.
and a bunch of this stuff. And he just starts rattling off all this stuff because he interviews all these really smart guys and girls and all these areas of study and learns from them. And then says, well, hey, this guy says this person says this study says this. And you learn so much.
He's really involved in that, heavily.
He owns a couple companies.
Yeah, which is, it's kind of weird because the DMT, for example, is overseas in Europe and places like that. It's no big deal. Mushrooms, the natural mind altering substances over there, it's not a big deal. You come over here, it's still extremely taboo over here.
Well, in Spain, in the school lunchrooms, they have vending machines that they can get wine with their lunch.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Their rates of alcoholism is so much lower than the United States. Any country that doesn't have a legal drinking age, their rates of alcoholism are so much lower than the countries that have a legal drinking age, like United States.
Yeah. Or Canada.
Yeah, the United States usually the baseline they compare it to. But one of the biggest things is human nature. What happens when you're told you can't do something? You want to do it.
Right.
And if you're told you can't do it up until you're this age, then when you're that age, you go overabundance. That's why everyone has that 21st birthday where they get all trashed and
yeah,
all messed up. But over there, if it's part of your culture that's just a daily beverage and you're going to feel like crap if you drink too much, well, then there's no stigma on it.
Yeah. I remember the first time a friend of ours told me that he went to Europe and he was kind of young, 14, 15, but his family took a trip to Europe.
Right.
And it was, oh, you can see over the bar? What do you want?
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. Like, places still operate like that. I'm sure Mexico is probably the same way, right? There's no
it was funny,
drinking age or nothing down there.
I remember my Spanish teacher in high school. He was talking about, all of you need to get out and see the world. There's so much more than the United States. You need to get a viewpoint, and not only to see how other cultures interact, but to educate yourself that some things you're told here are not absolutely true, or just region specific to the United States.
Yeah, they're true here.
And some things where they tell you, well, drinking's bad unless you're 21, is not true. Whereas you go over, like you said, I've been to Spain many times. He said, I remember the first time I walked into a bar over there. I sat down, and cerveza is Spanish word for beer.
Right.
And he looked at the bartender, and the bartender said in Spanish, "What would you like?" And he pointed to the brand of beer he wanted. "I'll take that cerveza." The guy reached up on the shelf, grabbed it, cracked it open, set it right down in front of him. And he went, And so I sat there and drank a warm beer. And then later, someone else told me, he go, "Yeah, why'd you drink that? There was a display." As well, I ordered a beer and he gave it to me. I thought everyone drank it over here. I said, "No, you have to say, I think it's Frio is the cold.
Cold.
You have to say cold beer." But he was mainly messing with him because he's an American.
Yeah.
But that was just a hilarious story. But that's who, he's like, yeah, in the high schools, you can go right up to the vending machine and get a little one-serving little thing of wine to eat with your lunch. And no one's getting drunk at school because it's a normal...
Yeah, because they're just...
It's a normal drink. It's like ordering a Coke.
Yeah.
It's like ordering a water or lemonade.
Milk or something, yeah.
It's just something that sometimes that's what you want to... It pairs really well with certain meals.
He was a good teacher.
I'm sure he was one of the best. Because he held you You know what? He held you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that over all the other teachers, he'd hold you accountable. Listen.
We had a couple that were like that at our school.
But like, yeah. I remember him. He's like, all right, listen, we're doing the test review. Finish the test review. Now listen, most all of you didn't do good on last test. I'm doing this test review, not for me. I know Spanish. For you.
Yeah, right.
So if you have a question, ask me now. Because if you get a bad grade on the test and you come up to me and go, hey, what extra credit can I do? I'm going to tell you, you should have asked what you needed then.
Yeah, during the review session.
Oh, I remember people falling asleep in his class.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have him?
Yeah.
Oh, did people fall asleep in his class?
Oh, yeah.
He was epic with that.
Yeah.
He just moved their stuff out into the hallway.
Yeah. He'd
wake them up and make them stand and put their desk out in the hallway.
Yep. Like I said, I think in our high school, I probably remember 2 or 3 teachers that were like that.
I still remember one kid fell asleep and was snoring. He picked up all the stuff because he fell asleep like sitting back in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
So he carried his desk out in the hallway, carried his bag, all his books, everything, and then kept teaching. And eventually, the kid like kind of
just woke up in a chair
and went to lean forward on the desk, and it wasn't there. And he's like, and we're all watching because what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
And he slowly raised his hand, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, what can I help you with?" He goes, "Where's my desk? Where's all my stuff?" "Oh, while you were sleeping, I moved it out in the hallway. If you'd like to go get it, go ahead." So the kid goes, "Oh, okay." Stands up, walks out. He walks over, shuts the door, and locks it. Just left him out there the rest of class.
With no chair.
With no chair. I mean, that sounds mean, but that gets a point across.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what that kid did not do the rest of that?
Fall asleep.
He
never fell asleep again. Not
Never.
in that class anyways. I got kicked out of class one time with a friend because we were making too much noise. The teacher kicked us both out. Go out in the hallway and sit,
Yeah, sure.
We made so much noise out in the hallway that a teacher across the hall came out of his class and kicked my friend back into our class. You go back into the class. And he'd tell me every time I walk back in there and teacher's like, "What are you doing? I kicked you out." So-and-so across the hall kicked me back in here because we were making too much noise. Teacher come out and yell at me, because I'm still in the hallway.
I must bring up, since I know we've talked about it before, about Christmas movies.
Christmas movies.
In particular, the one with Bruce Willis.
The most important Christmas movie as far as Christmas movies go. Because it's always the center of conversation when it comes to Christmas movies, right?
One of the biggest debates, is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Die Hard 1. We're talking about the original.
Yeah, even though 2 was also a Christmas movie.
It was, yes. But nobody talks about that one. They only talk about 1.
We got to start with 1 and then move on.
Yeah. I actually like Die Hard with a Vengeance. I'm going to say that on the record. Yeah. I thought it was a great movie. Probably because Sam Jackson was in it and he kind of made it. And then it was the brother of the guy that fell off the building and won. So,
tied it back around.
Yeah. I thought Die Hard with a Vengeance was a good movie.
I agree.
Not Christmas movie.
Yeah, that one was definitely not a Christmas movie.
It was like middle of summer or some shit, yeah.
And neither was the other one with the dude from I don't remember his name, but the one where Bruce Willis jumps on a plane and runs across the wing. And
I didn't watch anything after Die Hard with a Vengeance.
That's wise choice.
Okay, so is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I have forever said no.
You have.
But I have since leaned towards the yes vote in that subject. And I don't know. It's as Christmas movie as you want to get. I wouldn't say it's the best, like we talked about before. In my opinion, it's not the best Christmas movie, but it is a Christmas movie. I will agree with you on that now. I've crossed that bridge.
That's a good thing, because the debate has been settled.
The debate is over. Die Hard, Christmas movie or not, and the survey says...
Do you know why it is a Christmas movie? Why the debate is settled? On Twitter.
Okay.
The Die Hard screenwriter weighed in on it.
This is the guy that wrote the script.
He wrote, Die Hard is about love, devotion, sacrifice, generosity, and resisting evil. How could it not be a Christmas movie? Hashtag Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
You think he would have put a little more insight into his response, but
you would think. But the hashtag speaks for itself.
It
coming
does.
From the screenwriter.
Yeah.
So all you that disagree with that, shut up.
Yeah. The debate is over. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Now we just got to get his opinion on Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
And it could take a year to get that, but I doubt it. You know.
I wonder if was he the screenwriter on both?
Oh, who knows?
Google.
Yeah, ask Google, because I don't know. I would say, based on his description and detail of what a Christmas movie is, you know, there are so many other movies that you could put as a Christmas movie, you know, just based on those factors.
Funny enough, Google has informed me that the screenwriter was the same. Well, there was a couple of them, but Steven de Souza was the screenwriter for 1 and 2.
1 and 2? Okay. Probably not for Die Hard with a Vengeance, which means that's why it's not a Christmas movie.
That's what I was just thinking. So they're probably like, listen, we really can't keep using the same Christmas decorations.
This debate is killing us. We need a new writer so nobody gets confused.
All right, now, funny enough.
Okay.
He is not on 3. But Richard Thorpe is on 2. Is on 3 and on 2.
So maybe he was like a associate writer or something on 2 and then got his mark and got the okay, the green light for 3 maybe. 3 was with a Vengeance, right?
Yes.
We're not missing anything in between there. Okay.
So there's 2 screenwriters on Die Hard. One of them was Steven de Souza.
Okay.
On 2, Steven de Souza and Richard Thorpe and one other person was on it.
Okay.
On 3, Richard Thorpe and someone else was on it.
Okay.
So it's like he passed the torch to Richard Thorpe, and he's like, finally, Steven's gone. Fuck this Christmas shit.
We're doing this shit in Harlem in July.
Harlem in July. These motherfuckers are sweating balls while they're running through the city.
Looking for bombs. Chasing dump trucks full of gold.
It was definitely interesting, because I don't know if it's obvious. I hate using filler words. I never knew who the screenwriters were. I don't pay that much attention to the writers and the screenwriters and who's making what movies and who's writing what. Because like my brother, who bailed out tonight, he knows a lot of those. So he's like, oh, well, this guy was tied with this and doing this and doing this, and it's really kind of cool once he starts putting all the pieces together. I just don't have that much time nor effort. No.
You know what? I never paid attention to it either myself personally until I watched Entourage. Because the show Entourage puts you in the place of the actor.
Right.
So they're constantly talking about agents, producers, directors, writers. This guy wrote a script. It's a great script because he wrote 2 other scripts that were great, so we want to get you on it. But the director you might not like, but then this producer comes in and it makes it okay. And I know it's all fiction, loosely based on, I believe, Wahlberg's life, right?
It's probably not loosely. It's probably heavily influenced from his experiences.
Yeah, him and I think his best friend or something.
Up until, I think I watched the whole series before I ever realized it was
about Wahlberg.
About Wahlberg.
Yeah. I found out early because I just recently watched the series. I didn't watch it early. When it was,
okay.
You know, I'm like Sopranos. I'm late to the game.
It's a solid series.
I thought it was great. I still haven't seen the movie though. I do want to. I want to watch the movie because I was told it kind of ties a lot of the ending together.
When it comes to Netflix, I'll watch it.
It's not on Netflix.
No, I know. That's why I haven't watched it.
Oh, touche. Makes sense why I didn't watch it either. It's not even on the HBO Go app.
Really?
And it's an HBO show. Yeah, no.
That's odd.
They redirect you to a site where you have to pay for it. I think it's like $5 or something.
Of course.
So
just the price of a movie ticket.
Screw it. I'm not going to watch it.
Did you ever get around to watching The Wire?
Nope.
Lord, how can you not? That is such a great
I told you, I don't have time. I'm still working on Black Mirror.
This is true. All right, so Black Mirror, Ric Flair, Wire. I don't know what else you have on your list, but it needs to be bumped down.
Yeah. So it's 0 degrees outside. We're in here nice and toasty. We just did a full episode, episode 6.
In the books?
In the books. Everybody stuck around through it. Those of you listening, we appreciate it. We're thanking you again. We'll be back next week.
Look at the show notes. That's where you'll find to follow us all. We're about to sit down and play a couple hands of poker. So you all have a great night.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening. And stay warm out there, huh?